The Pacers take game 3 and lead 2-1 in the NBA Finals, and maybe the biggest game in franchise history. They get it done, and I will remember as the bench game, and what the Stars will remember as a great performance. What a night for the Pacers, and we'll break it all down today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it is late, and the Pacers have done it in this building. They have won a finals game here for the first time since 2000, and they are winning 2-1 in the series over the OKC Thunder after a 116-107 victory in Game 3 in what I will remember as the bench game, but many will remember for many other things, some highlight plays, great performances from the Pacers stars, role players chipping in, and what I would consider another perfectly Pacers ethos kind of game with the balance and the depth and the pace and the wear down and the crowd. The Obi Toppin putback dunk late being probably the loudest I've ever heard this arena or almost any arena that I've ever been in. What a game for the Pacers. So many angles you could take as the lead story of this game. I think two guys off the bench were very dominant storylines because of their exceptional play, maybe not even compared to expectation, but just with game-changing plays with exceptional play. And I think the bench is where I would like to start talking about what made this Pacers team play so well tonight. Bennedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell were the two, but all of them deserve some sort of praise for the way they played. And let's start with Ben Mathurin because just wow. I mean, exceptional in every way kind of game. And I did mention after game 2, I wondered if there was a way to get him more involved, especially with the foul trouble that OKC was in at times in that game. Like, could they use him as a guy when they're in the bonus to really punish that? And I've also said there at the playoffs, I thought a Ben Mathurin game was coming. It did happen in that Knicks series when he had 20 points in 12 minutes, but this was something else. 27, his new playoff career high, no, without a doubt, in 22 and a half minutes of play, 9 for 12 from the field, 2 for 3 from deep, living at the line, 4 boards, really good defense. The Pacers smoke the Thunder by 16 in his minutes. Just an absolutely outstanding do-it-all, all the stuff that makes Ben Mathurin one of one on this Pacers team, right? Bennedict Mathurin does stuff that no one else on this Pacers team can do at times. So when his face-up game is not just a face-up game, go back and watch all of his attacks in this game. When he would turn to face up, the Pacers did a good job of bringing over someone to screen or to cut past him or to be involved, be a distraction, whatever terminology you want to use, whatever the Pacers would call it, just to keep the defense engaged in a different way and allow Ben Mathurin to really attack a tilted defense. And that's why it's always been about the blend, getting Ben Mathurin to fit the way the Pacers play and getting the Pacers to fit the way Ben Mathurin plays. And I thought that synergy tonight was as good as it's ever been, right? A lot of stuff where Pascal Siakam's getting into it with him with quick pitches. They run into a handoff. A lot of Ben Mathurin turning face. Here comes a different big for a screen. Obi Toppin running right by, whoever it was. He did a wonderful job of taking advantage of those opportunities. And I thought the shot diet he had with his 9 makes was also perfectly reflective of what makes him such a great scorer at times. Long twos, one dribble, pull up, hit him. Like a lot of guys, you don't like that shot, but on nights when Ben Mathurin's at his best, he can make that. Getting to the cup and drawing fouls, making threes, like just all the stuff that great scorers can do, Ben Mathurin did in this game, and he paired it with the defense that kept him on the floor. He didn't make hardly anything. He only had 1 turnover, kind of mistakes that make you go, oh, what's he doing? What was he thinking on that play? None of that kind of stuff. Just rock solid on all the little stuff and absolutely eye-poppingly perfect on all the stuff that makes him, again, a unique one-of-one talent for the Pacers. And the Thunder don't have a great answer for him. Like all the time against OKC, I'm not like they have awesome defenders. If they wanted to just stick one of their best defenders on Ben Mathurin, they could. But with the way they are built and with what they're trying to put on the floor in this series, it's so hard for all of Dort and J-Dub and Casey Wallace and Caruso to all be on the floor and defending well, and the Thunder score enough and have the right big man combos on the floor. There's always something for the Pacers to at least poke at. I'm not saying an advantage, but just enough. And Mathurin did a great job tonight of sizing up whatever his perceived advantage was, poking at it, getting shots, and scoring. Just brilliant. I would love to go into more depth on this, but I want to talk more about the rest of the bench because they were all exceptional today. TJ McConnell, the best 3 for 8 game ever. 10 points for him, which is already great, right? Made all 4 of his free throws. He was a plus 12. 5 assists. That was huge, right? Keep the second unit moving. And this is a tough series for him matchup-wise, right? The Thunder wall off the paint. He's going to get in the paint a lot. They're comfortable with McConnell dribbling around a bunch. Like those funky little shots he has just aren't really there in the series. But he got the ball moving enough in this game. His defense was good, and the steals were just immense. 5 steals from McConnell. He's the first player in NBA history. I think Tim Reynolds of the AP tweeted this. The first player in NBA history ever with 10, 5, and 5 steals off the bench. And I believe a playoff game. It might have been a finals game. I don't know. Either way, first to do just one of one stuff again from a guy that, I didn't think the Pacers rotation deserved a ton of question marks after this entire postseason, after the first 2 games of the finals. But you wondered, like, man, can this non-shooter against this Thunder defense really be that impactful? Like, does they need him to be in a different role in this series, like, which is more just getting win for other guards, or can he actually do stuff like this? Oh, he did stuff like this, making the shots that, again, are shots that no one else takes in the team. Him and Mathurin both, right? 2 guys who have very unique offensive styles and do things that only they really do on this team. They were both humming in that way, and I thought McConnell was just exceptional. The defense was really, really huge for him in this game, and they left those guys in for significant stretches because they were so good, because they were tilting a defense, because they were finishing plays in such important ways. Just immense for the Pacers to get that out of ball handlers, because this Thunder team, they're so good and have been so good at either forcing turnovers, 13 for the Pacers in this game, which is like, a little high, but not great, or keeping the Pacers out of the paint. 50 points in the paint for the Pacers tonight. They finally got rolling in that way. And those 2 bench guards were a huge part of that. They were able to get there or get someone the ball there, right? TJ McConnell to start the second quarter, 2 brilliant interior passes, one to Siakam, and I think the other one was to Mathurin. And that was the other part of Mathurin's game that was so impressive, is obviously I talked about all the on-ball stuff he did because that was the primary function of his success in this game, but he was cutting awesome. His cuts were fantastic. I probably get a chance to unload the notebook after this game because Rylan Stiles and I will chat tomorrow, but I mean, he was cutting like a beast off the ball. The 45 cuts were there. He was just really well timed with all that stuff, and McConnell linked up with him for a few of those. Those 2 were just simply spectacular. I'm not even I keep saying compared to expectations, and obviously 10, 5, and 5 is one thing, 27 for 1 is the other thing, but that's part of it. But just in a series where the bench battle is so important, those 2 absolutely shining. A game after Aaron Wiggins and Caruso really shifted the series, just stood out so much. Really tremendous game from those 2, and that led to a good bench night in general. Not as flashy on the points as his game 1 of this series, but Obi Toppin continues to be pretty close to the X factor for me for the Pacers in this series. They just don't have the Thunder don't have a guy his size, and he just adds this pace and juice element with his gazelle-like running and blurring, and he can shoot and get to the rim and do all this stuff that just, it's so hard for the Thunder to quite match up with that. And I feel like he's the guy that, I felt like this in the regular season a lot too. I feel like I would say this on this podcast all the time, just adds juice to a game when he's playing at his best. Tonight, despite missing all his threes, goes 4 for 9, 7 boards, including an offensive rebound that led to the putback for him of the game, the play of the game to me in terms of its eruption level for the crowd. It was a close-ish game at the time. The Thunder look like they're going to stop. Here comes Obi Toppin. Just no one else can do. Again, another bench thing that no one else on the team can do. A little thing, flying for that rebound, slam down the putback. He only finishes with 8 points, but he was plus 18 because when he's in the game, it injects the Pacers with some style and vibrancy and some life that makes them play like the Pacers. Exceptionally good game for Obi Toppin. Ben Shepherd defended his butt off in this game. So many hustle plays, 2 steals for him in this one, saving the ball from going out of bounds, keeping plays alive, doing all the Ben Shepherdy stuff. That's why he played 18 minutes. And he made 2 shots, and none of them were threes. Ben Shepherd made 2 twos. Ben Shepherd made an off-the-dribble elbow jumper, and Ben Shepherd made an in-traffic off-the-dribble layup in this game. A close game. This game was tied with 6 minutes to go. You want to tell me those weren't huge baskets that atypically come from Ben Shepherd? Everybody off the bench plays a certain role for the Pacers. Everybody on the Pacers in general plays a key role for this team. That's why they are who they are. That's why they're this far in the postseason. And everybody off the bench brought their unique element to this game. Ben Mathurin with scoring in ways that only he can. TJ McConnell with the McConnell plays 3 or 4 inbounds steals, those funky little shots in the lane. passing through the paint with those little Nash moves. Obi Toppin with freakish athleticism and tempo adding. Ben Shepherd with some defense and some shots that, quite frankly, I wouldn't even consider part of his usual package of success. Thomas Bryant provided some wind in his 3 minutes, didn't play that much, got into foul trouble. Not a ton to say about his bench contributions, but this was the bench game in a series that I had talked about this as like a secondary topic a lot, but never the primary thing, that the Pacers bench was getting drastically outplayed by the Thunder bench tonight. The exact opposite. All the credit to those guys for coming in their building in front of their crowd and performing very well and giving the Pacers the exact game they needed at the exact time. Not to be outdone, the stars were stars. The defense was huge late. So many more moments from this game to get to on Locked On Pacers. Before we get to any of that, we got to talk about game time. There's nothing like the finals, the intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds, and here it happened. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live, and this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats. Even for the biggest playoff games, prices on the app actually drop closer to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, no surprise fees, Game Time is a total game changer. You can drop it on the app, looking at games for the finals. You'll see their zone deals. You'll see your exact seat view. The app makes it so simple. 2 taps, boom, you're in. And their Game Time guarantee means you're getting the best price. The NFL schedule's out. You can dive in, get Score NFL tickets for as low as $100, and their Game Time guarantee means they'll be 100% authentic. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back here on Locked On Pacers, still in Cambridge Fieldhouse. Thanks for making me your first listen today and every single day. Your second listen should be Locked On Thunder. Rylan Stiles is right back there. You probably can't see him over my shoulder. He's recording Locked On Thunder about right there. And we'll team up tomorrow to break down Game 3 from our perspectives. The Thunder will be crushed by their fourth quarter offensive process, I'm sure, and their second quarter defense. Those two stretches were huge. The bench led that start of that fourth quarter offense for the Pacers, where they got back into the game after an okay but not great start. 40 points against this OKC defense in that second quarter for the Pacers, and then 18 points allowed for the Pacers in the fourth after trailing heading into that frame. We'll talk about that stuff in the final segment. Let's talk about the stars. Look, Tyrese Haliburton had the game he had in Game 2. I always talk about those differently than other people because I've covered a million of those, and I know why that happens, or at least I get a sense of why that happens and what it is about Tyrese Haliburton's game that makes that happen. I also understand that the way Tyrese Haliburton is wired and the way the Pacers are, they will problem solve with him, around him, with the rest of the team, and I know what's coming after this. And so everybody always wonders, why is he like this? This is what he's like. This is what makes him special, is that he can see a coverage or see a defense that is so challenging for his particular skill set, or makes it hard for him to have the ability to get the best possible shots for himself. And then comes out one game later, consistent, great play. 17 shot attempts, 8 threes, 11 assists, 1 board off a triple-double. He'll kick himself for the 4 turnovers, but a 22-point, 1 board off a triple-double game from Tyrese Haliburton, who did partially what everybody hoped he would, and partially what I thought made the most sense for the Pacers. They got him going on the move. He did not stop moving. Catch it on a pitch. Move towards the rim with your dribbles in a way that when the screen comes, boom, you're beating somebody. Throw it to the guy on the wing. Run towards that wing. Either you're getting the ball back or you're causing chaos for the defense. All sorts of stuff that just looks like little cuts and swooshes and wows and stuff that looks like nothing to us is a big deal for him. And it's a big deal for the Thunder defense to be just a half beat worse than they normally are. And that's all Tyrese Haliburton needs to be great. So, like, he burped up a shot in the first quarter that was a long 2, and he missed it. And in my head, I'm like, that's what I think of when fans say aggressive. They want him to do that. They want him to get a crossover past his defender and just take a shot, right? And, like, in some ways, I think that should happen. Himself creating for himself is often, on average, more efficient than what the defense gives the Pacers for another shot. However, his absolute apex best is the perfect balance of flinging it around, moving, getting everybody involved, finding space in the paint, hitting jumpers, all sorts of little stuff that when he's talked about as an elite player, at least by me, it's because of the unprecedented combination of passing and shooting and scoring. And so the scoring was not there in Game 2, no doubt, but the passing wasn't either, and the shooting was muted. And in this game, they all came back. right? All of it. And so it was about aggressiveness in some ways, but it was about the team finding ways to get him to be him, opportunities to exploit the defense when it's cracked or tilted. And that requires a full group effort. And Tyrese Haliburton absolutely took advantage. He had some huge threes in the flow of the game that got the Pacers some like crowd and igniting moments, or extended their lead, or tied it up, or whatever you want to say, like many different ways about it. He was exceptional with the timing. He did a lot of other very important things with the passing. Obviously, 11 assists is huge. I believe over half of them came in the first half. And everybody knows the Tony stat that tells all for Tyrese Haliburton, took 9 twos, got into the paint, found some of those floaters, found some of those shots that he loves so much. The wiggle was there, and some defensive effort, man. I know people have talked a lot about how his defense has been better in the playoffs. Just like giving a crap has been huge for him in the playoffs. It's still below average total product defense, but good defense at key times against the lesser Thunder players. Just an absolutely awesome game for Tyrese Haliburton, the bounce back that he's capable of, right? And this is what makes him so singular, is that he, in some games, there are ways that, what's going on? How can the Pacers score without him doing this or that? And there are some games where it's like, man, how can the Thunder stop this guy? The Pacers offense just gets this guy flowing into situations where he can do whatever he wants at any time. That's what makes the Pacers so good. That's what makes Tyrese Haliburton so good, and why he's a star player and why he led the team in minutes. The only guy in a finals game over 33.5 minutes. Again, this is the Pacers ethos, this kind of game. I'll get into more of that in a second. Pascal Siakam in under 32 minutes, because the Pacers were tinkering and stuff with their front court. They had Siakam at center with Aaron Nesmith next to him at times. A lot of Siakam Toppin, some Turner Toppin. Obviously, Thomas Bryant gets his 3 minutes. Tiny, small groups. And Pascal Siakam, just awesome. 21, 6, 4, and 2. No turnovers, plus 8. 8 for 14 from the field. 8 for 12 on his twos with his 6 free throws. My gosh, is his best in this series so important because of what he did to start the game. The stuff that was huge in game 1 was huge in game 3 as it pertains to him being a mismatch issue. First basket for the Pacers, Pascal Siakam, 11-foot turnaround over a tinier defender. The Thunder immediately score. Guess what Pascal Siakam did? He got a tinier defender on him. He took a 12-foot fadeaway, and he made it. Guess what happened with 9 minutes left in a 10-4 game? Pascal Siakam took a 12-foot turnaround fadeaway, and he hit it over a smaller defender. They can't do it. The Thunder cannot put smalls on him, but at times they have to. Their defense does not tilt in a way that lets them do anything else without him just having a free run to the rim or transition, being just a comically easy chance. And there it was. That was the Pascal Siakam game that was possible, and what makes him so special is he can do that. And he can have a possession like what I will consider one of the 2 possessions that define the Pacers' fourth quarter defense. I'll talk about the next one in the next segment. But late in this game, it's tight. It's hairy. It's like an 8-point game, a 6-point game there. Can the Thunder actually pull off this comeback? I can't remember exactly how much time was left. I believe it was about 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. 1:17 to be exact. Aaron Nesmith misses a 3 with the Pacers up by 6. The Thunder have the ball. There's enough time for a comeback, certainly. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the guy, is handling, right? He's making his move. He's been he's the MVP. He's amazing. And Siakam gets switched onto him, and he stays with them, and he stays with them. And Pascal Siakam shot fakes, and nothing is there. And Siakam stays on his feet, but lunges just perfectly so he can change directions as soon as SGA does. He tries to burp up a tough shot. He misses. Nembhard gets the rebound. And then that's what makes this possession a perfectly Siakam play. After getting the stop, he sprints down the floor in transition, uses his size and matchup advantage once again to grind the Thunder to dust, scores in transition with a running layup. Haliburton's 11th assist. Pacers up 8 with 69 seconds to go. They got to 112 on that basket. The Thunder never even got to 108. A massive, massive, massive sequence from him there, and just showed everything about what made him so good in this game. The effort, the ducking in, the punishing smalls, the stuff that you heard Tyrese Haliburton him talked about in that mic'd up segment. He said, keep sealing. He seals on the smalls. It creates an issue for the Thunder. They have to react, and he could score over those. He did not in game 2. He missed the shots. He was 3 for 11. Tonight he made the shots. He was 8 for 14. He was on the glass. He had 4 assists. That was the 3rd most on the Pacers. Just an awesome game. And so collectively, after a loss, a team that needs to respond, they need their stars to be leaders. No one on the Pacers entered this game having scored 20 points in a game. They got 3 in this game, but the stars were stars. 43 points combined, 15 rebounds, 15 assists for Pascal Siakam and Myles Turner, Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Haliburton. They were just tremendous. The bench aided them, obviously, but they had to be great in this game. It was a huge game for how it will dictate the rest of the series, how the responses come. Both of these teams don't lose back-to-back games. That trend might buck eventually, but the Pacers made sure it was not tonight. Just awesome, awesome play from those two. And Siakam, his late performance, getting it done. So much more to get to. Little plays here and there, big-time stuff going on from Obi Toppin, from Myles Turner after a not great game from him, Andrew Nembhard's underrated night, and so much more to close out this Game 3 Locked On Pacers. Before we talk about any of that, I got to tell you guys about WayFair. There's nothing like stepping into your own outdoor space and feeling like you've escaped to a personal oasis. If you're wanting to update your patio this season, WayFair has made it so easy to turn it into a space that feels like yours. Comfortable, stylish, and ready for summer. WayFair has everything you need to level up your outdoor space. Conversation sets, outdoor bars, fire pits, hot tubs, gazebos, and yes, even the perfect string lights to set the vibe. It's like giving your backyard that resort feel without the resort price tag. You could pick up a new dining set, new modern lounge chairs. I just got new cushions for my Adirondack chairs. Whatever your style is, you can get what you want free, fast, and totally hassle-free, even with larger items. So wherever you're hosting friends or unwinding with a book, it feels like your own private retreat. So don't wait. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop huge outdoor selection. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Back here on Locked On Pacers, thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day. And make Locked On Knicks your second listen to laugh at them talking about the many coaches the Knicks have tried to interview and been unable to do so. It's a very funny bit of reporting from the insider. Still here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's almost 2 a.m. The banners are behind me. The Pacers are up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. Say it again. If you're a fan of the team, they earned it. They're playing quite well. They gave the home crowd something to cheer about, and they will get at least another game here and perhaps two on their quest for their first NBA championship. The stars were great. The bench was awesome. So just like spiritually, I would say this was a very Pacers-y game. This is their ethos. Like anyone on the team at any time can be great if the situation presents itself and if the Pacers play their way and if they're moving the ball and sharing it and attacking these little cracks and moving it around. And they only had 24 assists, but their ball movement was still quite good in the game. And this is what can happen. Ben Mathurin can go off. TJ McConnell can have his moments. Ben Shepherd can hit shots. You never see Ben Shepherd hit. Obi Toppin can have huge plays. Every starter hits at least 3 shots. Their stars were great. Like, this is what they can be. That's why their game 1 was so special. They hit 111 with no one having 20 because their balance was great. Their ball movement was great. They're just really good when they play their way. And I've talked a lot in this playoffs after it happens about why wins feel Pacers-y or when wins feel Pacers-y, because those are the games they walk away from like, wait, no one was like so exceptional. Like no one thing felt like the difference in this game, but the Pacers still won it because that's what can happen. They're capable of that kind of thing. And they were today. Their defense was also sublime. Holy cow. In the fourth quarter of this game, 18 points allowed. They entered the quarter down. They tie it up pretty quickly. The Thunder take the lead back. The Pacers come roaring right back, tied up at 95 with 8:33 to go. It's tied up at 98 with 7:41 to go. The Thunder are still on 98 with 6 minutes to go. They're on 100 with 5 minutes to go. They're on 102 with 3 minutes to go. They didn't score 103 till 2:35 remaining. They got to 98 on a Jalen Williams shot with 7:41. They scored 5 points in 5 minutes across the middle of the quarter with a lot of guys on the floor. McConnell was in there at times. Toppin out there at times. Mathurin out there. Siakam, Haliburton, Turner. Nesmith comes in. Nembhard's out there. Like Haliburton, they had everybody chipping in to this monster defensive effort late, shutting down plays, making it tough. Outside of Jalen Williams hitting some shots that I was like, man, when J-Dub just surges toward the rim, he's got it going. Like Nesmith, I haven't seen J-Dub play like that. Nesmith's going to have to look at the film and figure out what that looks like to slow it down because he was making shots that I've never seen from him. Outside of that, nothing was working for the Thunder late in this game. SGA finally hits a step back with 3:23 to go to cut it to 5 before Nesmith hits a huge three to put the Pacers up 8. And that 110 the Pacers got to ended up being the number that the Thunder could never quite hit, right? And, of course, J-Dub did have a turnover on the very next play with Nesmith having a steal. That was his huge 20-second stretch. They got the Pacers pretty close to sealing it. The Pacers did turn it over right after, and it felt like potentially a huge play, even though they put it away. But that was just a monster defensive stretch of fourth quarter. And then here it comes. Alex Caruso, 2 free throws. It's a 6-point game, 2 minutes to go. Myles Turner, ball goes out off him. Kind of his fault, whatever. Doesn't matter. Big possession coming. Can the Pacers keep their lead at 2 possessions and get the ball back? Chet Holmgren for 3. Myles, elite. Myles Turner, who had such a bad start to the third quarter, maybe his worst stretch of the playoffs. He did recover from it immediately, but was not having a great game. Rick Carlisle said after the game he's under the weather. He's just a little sick, right? Steps out, monster block on Chet Holmgren. Monster block. No matter, Holmgren gets it back, and he's going to drive to the cup. Oh, look, there's Myles Turner again, a second block. That was right before the Siakam stop. The front court guys with just huge plays that summed up that whole fourth quarter of defense. Hustle, grit, effort, energy, everything they need to be good on defense. For years, everybody wondered, years is a stretch. For a while, everybody wondered, how is this team not better on defense? They have all these great individual defenders. Well, all those great individual defenders were special at individual defense in the fourth quarter. And the Thunder could not quite solve it. Their ball movement wasn't there. Their 5-out spacing principles weren't quite as threatening. They couldn't do anything against the Pacers, and their shooting was awesome all night. I think they were 10 for 18 from 3 heading into the fourth quarter. By the way, with 30 seconds to go in this game, the Pacers were winning, and the Thunder were shooting 50% from deep. Regardless of that random aside, they could not score. They just could not get it going, and the Pacers defense was so good in that quarter. And it was everybody who playing well, playing connected, forcing the Thunder to take tough shots, forcing steals here and there. Their best stretch of defense probably in the whole finals. In their second quarter, 40 points was also huge. They were just rolling in that quarter. Everything was going in. The bench was great. The starters came in. They kept running it down their throats for a very perfectly Pacers-y game, as I keep saying. So many little plays jumped out to me. It's just like, oh, this was huge and could matter. One was a Tyrese Haliburton run it down offensive rebound pretty late in this game that I said, yeah, everybody needs to remember that, if this game ends up being close late. And it was, the whole game was close. But Nembhard got 2 points on the possession out of it in a tight game late. And it's just those kind of plays that can be the difference in the finals. It's the finals. You got to be hustling for all this stuff. You got to get every point you can. I'm trying to find the exact moment of the shot. Yeah, there it is. 5 minutes to go. And it's 103-100. It's a tight game. The Thunder can't score. The Pacers are trying so hard to put them away. Tyrese Haliburton misses a 3 in the left corner. He runs in, gets the offensive rebound. Caruso fouls. Pacers inbound on Andrew Nembhard. It's a step back. That's a huge swing. And that's the kind of little stuff the Pacers did really well in this game. They had a lot of good plays around the basket that required second efforts. They got those steals. They pushed in transition. Their transition defense continues to be excellent in this series. Only 10 fast break points for the Thunder in this game. The Pacers win the fast break points battle, win the points in the paint battle, and win the second chance points battle, right? It's those little things. It's those details that can be so major in this game. And it's why that despite a bad first quarter and bad third quarter, they were able to always keep themselves in it, find the big play, find the next thing, and their bench got it done. 49-18 bench point advantage for the Pacers. What a win. And that's how it's 2-1 Pacers in the finals. They're on the doorstep of potentially a third win if they can keep protecting home court. But both of these teams feel very good about their ability to respond to losses. Will that trend break at any point? That will kind of define the finals. But the Pacers have to feel good about this one. I haven't even hardly talked about 3 guys who had big moments, but I mentioned Turner's, Nesmith hit those huge plays late. And Andrew Nembhard, a very quietly important game as usual with the defense, hitting threes, making shots in general. There's a reason he plays so much, even when he only takes 5 shots. He's defending freaking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Everybody contributes. Everybody who was here tonight, congratulations on seeing a finals win in person. It's so hard for people to think this way in this kind of moment, right? Everybody wants to think ahead to ooh, what if they win it all? Or ooh, this doesn't matter to me until they win it all, right? It's so hard to be in the moment of again, 2000 was the last time they were here. This could not happen again in theory until 2050 on the same timeline. And people, I always think it sounds farther away when you say the forwards date than the backwards date. So that's thing one. If you got to enjoy this as a fan, congratulations. Keep that with you. Keep this feeling with you as long as you can. But 2, go back 25 years from 2000, 1975. The ABA Pacers, that sounds forever far away. That's an equidistant from now in the Pacers' last finals appearance. You just never know when nights like tonight can happen and moments like this can be a part of your life. And the Pacers gave the crowd something to cheer for. Obi Toppin blew the roof off this place with that offensive rebound. The bench was consistent all night. The defense was great late, and the stars were stars. And that is how the Pacers win games. 2-1 in the finals. Game 4 on Friday. I will be there, of course. Podcast coming right after that. Tomorrow, you'll get me with Rylan Stiles of Locked On Thunder. He's in Indy as well, if you want to hear Locked On Thunder for his perspective on what went so poorly for OKC in this game after such a great game, too. He'll have all that perspective. for you, and then we will again tomorrow, especially after our practice day, when we can talk to all the Thunder and Pacers players about this game, where the Pacers are 2 wins from a championship, but they got to get it done against a 68-win monster team. They'll keep trying to do it just as they have. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Tony Arias. This podcast is at Locked On Pacers on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you all so much for listening today. We will see you very soon.